Hi, my name is Mackenzie, and today I'm going to be walking you through how someone in property management or who is leasing out maybe some real estate that they own might leverage the Finli platform to run their business. Quick reminder, Finli is a digital back office platform for small businesses that helps individuals manage all of the sometimes really time consuming and manual parts of running a business, like keeping track of customers, setting pricing items and tracking inventory, sending out quotes and invoices, and of course, collecting and reminding people about collecting all different sorts of payments. So today, I'm going to be walking through how a property manager might use the Finli dashboard. But one of the great things about our platform is that we really weren't built for one type of small business. We were designed to be very easy to use, very quick to get started with. But just today, we're going to be talking about the property management business. Quick overview of the dashboard. Over on the left-hand side, you will see our customers tab, which is where you can keep information about all of your customers and securely store documents and things like lease agreements or contracts that you may have entered into. Under pricing, we can store all of the pricing items that you regularly use, as well as any discounts or surcharges like late fees or prorated amounts. Under quotes, which you might not use too much, but you have the ability to send out a pricing proposal prior to actually turning that into a bill that someone can pay. And then, of course, invoices are those bills that you can pay. One thing you will definitely leverage quite a bit is our series functionality, which is a recurring invoice that happens on a regular interval. So maybe for monthly rent payments, you would be leveraging that series feature. And then payments is how you can take a look at all of the payments that have come in through either Finli or maybe through offline payment methods. So you can also track if someone paid you via cash or check or another form of payment. Awesome. So one thing we're going to do really quickly is show you how to create an invoice and send out a bill. Super straightforward. This is our invoice builder. The quote builder process looks very similar, but we're just going to jump right into invoices for the purpose of today. And I am just going to be using an example of a monthly rental agreement where I'm collecting rent from Olivia Occupant. So we'll go ahead and add our customer. She will receive this invoice via email, but I can also send the invoice via SMS text message and send reminders there too. One of the great things about Finli is that we follow up on invoices, so you don't have to. So we send customers notifications when an invoice is issued, when an invoice is almost due, when an invoice is past due, and we have a number of follow-ups after an invoice is past due to make sure that we're doing all the follow-ups so that you don't have to worry about that. Next step is to add the items to your invoice. So we'll go ahead and use this monthly rent example. And since this is the first time that I'm invoicing this customer, I'm actually going to charge 2 months rent upfront, and there aren't going to be any discounts. Service 4 is a feature that you may not leverage as much, but it allows you to delineate what items are for which specific project. So maybe you're billing a commercial tenant for 2 different spaces within your building, and you could specify, that this is rent for one space and these are fees associated with that for one space, whereas these other charges are in relation to a different space. So we'll go ahead and add this just residential rent to our invoice here. We're not going to be adding any discounts or surcharges, but this is a lease agreement that we've entered into for the next year. So I'm actually going to make this invoice repeat. It's going to repeat every month, and it's going to be due on the first of the month. And I'm going to go ahead and issue that invoice 5 days before it is due. So that means a customer will be able to pay 5 days before it's due up until the day that it's due. And we've entered into a 1-year lease with this tenant. So we're just going to have this series run for 12 invoices. One of the great things that you can do is you can select whether or not you want these items to be recurring. So let's say on that first invoice that you're sending, you might be collecting a security deposit, you might be collecting the first month's rent, maybe there are other utilities that you need to charge for. You can select if this will be a one-time item or a future item as well. So what I might do in this instance actually is just add the monthly rent as a singular item and then have that be recurring. And I'll just do this as the quantity of 1, and we'll add this as second month rent deposit. So there you can see that this first item will just be charged on this invoice, but the monthly rent will be charged on all invoices going forward. I can add a message here, and I can also set a statement period. So if I want to say this invoice is in relation to the month of August rent, or I guess more likely it would be the month of September rent, I can go ahead and edit that here. Awesome. So once this is ready to go, I'll go ahead and save and schedule that invoice to be sent out in a couple of days. And there we can see that invoice is scheduled and ready to go. I'll use another example here. We have this invoice that I sent to Ronald Renter the other day. Once invoices are issued, a customer has the ability to pay using our online invoice. So they can pay via either ACH, which is bank-to-bank transfer, or via credit card. If they choose to pay via credit card, there is a 3% fee, and you can choose whether you would like to pay that as a business or whether you'd like your customers to take on that fee. But once that invoice has been issued, they can either pay online or you can record an offline payment. So let's say this customer actually paid you via check. We can specify the check number here and save that, and you'll see that invoice moves to completed and paid, and we can go ahead and view that payment right here. So I can see the date that that invoice was due, when the customer actually made payment, and if there were any transaction fees or refunds that took place, those will all be listed here as well. Under the Invoices tab, we make it really easy for you to identify which invoices are past due. So you can go through, I don't have any right now, but you can go through and resend any of those invoices or send additional reminders to tenants if maybe they are running late on a rent payment. Over in our series tab, you can see any active or pause series. So there's that series that we just went ahead and created for Terry Tennant. We can see that this is active, and I can either pause or cancel this series right from within this tab. And the other thing I can do is I can edit individual invoices within that series as well. So this is going to be next month's rent. And if I needed to make any changes to this, I could do that before it's sent out. One thing I'm sure you're curious about is how easy it is to prorate a payment or add, fees or things like that. So one of the ways that we recommend doing it is using the discount functionality. So we would say, August 15th prorated, and that discount would be 50% since they're only paying for half of the month. And we'll go ahead and add that. And we can choose if we'd like that applied to future invoices or just this one. And I'm just going to apply this to this singular invoice here. So we can now see that that was prorated, and this is the amount that is due for that customer. I can go ahead and send this, or I can cancel those changes. Quick overview of the customers tab, and then we'll get into pricing as well. You can see a lot of really great information within the customers tab. So you can store customers' contact information, address information. You can also add tags or keywords that help you easily identify customers and filter for them. So maybe you do both, commercial and residential property management. You could specify that, or you could cluster, tag all of the customers within this one building with that tag, so it's easy to identify which one they're coming from. You can also securely upload notes and attachments. So upload all of your rental agreements here, and also keep internal notes if there are things that you need to remember about those customers. They'll not be able to see either of those items, and these are both collaborative as well. So you can add multiple different team members to your Finli dashboard, and they'll all be able to see these notes and send out invoices. You can also get a quick overview of this tenant and view their quote or invoice history, and also see any recurring series that they're a part of. When you're first setting up your Finli account, we definitely recommend going in and putting in all of your regular price items and discounts and surcharges. So for someone in property management, this might look like each of these monthly rents for the spaces that you manage, or maybe you have, specified prorated amounts that you like to have accessible here. Maybe you charge other fees or utilities. You can get all of that created within the dashboard. And then the other thing that's great is if you do carry any inventory, maybe, you manage a large building and so you store light bulbs for the commercial spaces. Maybe they need to be changed out on a regular basis. You can also track that inventory. Oh my gosh. You can also track that inventory from within the Finli dashboard. So you could set that you have 100 on hand, and you'd like to be notified that it's time to reorder when you get down to 10. And maybe that's something that you charge your, commercial tenants for if they're switching out a lot of light bulbs. I don't know. This might be a poor example, but you're able to see that number on hand whenever you're sending out invoices. And every time you bill a customer for that, it'll deduct the item from your quantity on hand. Last thing, really quickly before we head out, within your account settings, you can customize the way that your business is showing up on invoices and quotes, all of your information. Here is where in your settings, you'll be able to select whether you're paying that 3% credit card fee or your customers are. And we also have a number of really great integrations with the Finli dashboard as well. QuickBooks is one of our most popular. This will allow you to sync your customers' bills and payments between the two systems. So anytime you collect a payment in Finli, that will automatically get logged within your QuickBooks accounting software. Finli is $39 a month. You can easily manage your subscription plan from within your settings. We have a really great referral program. So if you refer a business, they'll get a month free, you'll get a month free, and you can definitely manage multiple businesses from within the Finli dashboard. So maybe you do property management for a couple of different owners. You can set those all up here and switch between them really easily. And then here's that part of your dashboard where I mentioned you can add different team members. I know that was super quick, and we are always adding new features and new functionality to the Finli dashboard, but there's lots of exciting stuff in here that makes running a property management business really easy. If you have any questions or any feedback, please feel free to reach out to our team at support@finli.com or visit our help center. And I really appreciate you taking the time to check out our platform today. Hopefully it is helpful for you and your business.